Okay, so about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks at this point. No, it was about a week ago. I watched Rabbit Trap. Now, typically, this is the type of film that I would press play on, and I would watch like 10 minutes of it and be like, "Oh no, this is a Kaylee movie. I should shut this off." But I was kind of just like mesmerized by it, and it was late at night, and I was just vibing with it, so I just kept watching it, and then it was so long into it that I was like, "I can't stop it now. Like, I don't want to start it over."
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll just finish it, and I'll watch it with her again later. I recorded a review for this all by myself, and I uploaded it, but it's on members only at the moment, and I was like, you know what? I think that this would be a much better film to review with Kaylee. So that review will now be unlisted, and it will be included in the description below if for some weird reason you want to hear my first take on this film solo. So, Rabbit Trap. This is a film brought to us by Spectre Vision. I feel like I haven't seen them in a little while. I don't remember anything they've made. This is Elijah Wood's horror production company. He likes to make like very highbrow type of stuff. I know he has been quoted saying that he wants to get a horror movie an Oscar for Best Picture. That's like that's his goal. So he definitely goes for the more artsy, maybe critic bait, so to speak. This is one that stars Dev Patel from Slumdog Millionaire, as well as I think it's
Monkey Man? Wait.
Well, no, I'm sorry, the woman.
Oh,
Rose.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I didn't know the guy's name, and I know you.
Dev Patel.
Oh, okay.
From
I
Slumdog
see.
Millionaire.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was he not the same person in Monkey Man?
He is.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
like totally wrong. Yeah, the lady's name I don't know.
Rosie McEwen, I think is her name, and we know her from the Black Mirror episode from the last season.
Yes.
And yeah, so this is about a musician couple who has moved out into the middle of nowhere to record their new album. And the husband likes to go out and record sounds of nature to bring back to his wife to incorporate into the album. And while he is out there, he picks up a sound that he brings home for them to listen to, and it seems like a sound that maybe you're not supposed to hear. And they listen to it, and then a stranger shows up. So, yeah, I mean, what I had talked about in my previous review, and I will divulge this here because I think this is important, and it's talked about very early on, so I don't think it's spoilery at all. This movie deals with fairies, and I feel like, number one, fairy movies have been like very prominent lately. I don't know what the uptick, like what's the cause for the uptick in fairy movies as of late, but I feel like we've seen a lot of them in recent years. Like it's like another one comes out and we're like, another fairy movie? Wow, okay. I just feel like fairy movies before the last like 5 years, I just never saw them. They didn't exist. And if they did, it was like Tinkerbell or something like that. Not this kind of style of fairy.
Yeah, I feel like I was like a few years ago, whenever we would come across a movie with fairies as a theme, I was always like, I want more of this. There needs to be more. This is like a super underrated, underused like theme
Subgenre,
or whatever, subgenre. I'm kind of wondering if some of it, even though I haven't read all these books at all. I think I've only read the first one, but the A Court of Thorn and Roses, the ACOTAR books, those like really popular like fairy smut books, basically.
Yeah.
Huge on the internet, but the fairies in that, at least, I again haven't read all the books, so I don't know if this is the case. But the fairies are not like the typical like, or the real fairies from like folklore. They're like hot guys. And that's it. So the only reason I'm like wondering if perhaps that has something to do with it is just because like fairies are once again like in pop culture a little bit more, but obviously the movies that we're watching are drawing from like folklore and actual stories of fairies, versus like you know, as you said, Tinkerbell or something. So I don't know if that has any correlation.
Well, we'll come back to that because for now, let's just talk about the movie itself. Now, this is a film I have now seen twice, and I definitely recommend that. Not that you won't get something out of it the first time. Kayla will have that perspective. But now, being someone who watched it twice, I can definitely tell you that I got more out of it. Now, I was pretty big on it the first time I watched it, right? I gave it a very positive review. But I was definitely enamored with it this time, even more so. I find the film to be just very alluring, and I vibe with this film. Films like this, they're not for everybody by any means. This is the style of film that is for a niche audience. And I always applaud films like this that are kind of doing their own thing, paving their own way, dancing to their own tune. And this is for a specific group. And I think that the people who the people who vibe with this will love it. And I think the majority of people will find this movie to be pretentious drivel. I don't, and I've definitely watched plenty of movies like that where I'm just like, I don't get it, I don't understand what's happening. Other folk horror movies that we've watched, like that All You Need Is Death, or all something like that, whatever that one was called, where they went around collecting songs. I didn't understand that one at all. The vibe for that one was fine. It was kind of cool, but I just didn't understand it. This one, I don't know what it is about this one. I am like super in love with this film. And I'm looking at IMDb and I'm seeing a 4.8, and I'm seeing all these horribly negative reviews about, that the movie is ultimately pointless, or nothing happens, or that it doesn't make any sense, or it's boring and whatever. And that's not surprising. Like, when I went on, that's about what I expected to see. It is a shame, though, because I think that this is going to be one of the most underappreciated and misunderstood films of the year that I will, for many years in the future, or endlessly be defending as a beautiful experience filled with so much wonderful performances, an incredible atmosphere, beautiful set design, and scenery shots. I mean, just everything that you could want in like a fairy folk tale, folk horror film. It's a beautiful film.
Yeah, I totally love this film. I mean, it's, as of right now, like in my top 10 of the year.
It would be.
I think that it is kind of one of the more perfect fairy films. I mean, everything you said, like, it is just totally gorgeous in so many ways.
Very ethereal.
Fairy, and it just really captures, there's like such a specific vibe that I'm always looking for when it comes to like fairy horror movies. And because I mean, there's a few different vibes, but this is one of them. Like, the atmosphere in this film is spot on for how I feel when I think about fairies in folk tales, or I'm listening to people. There's a really interesting podcast that I've listened to called, I think it's called Modern Fairy Sightings, which is like, people that just around the world, like, it's not just in, the UK or anything, but that have experiences with what they think are potentially fairies. And so it's like, spooky stories or odd, unsettling things. And when I listened to that, like, that was the same kind of feeling that I was getting with this, where there's such a like bending of reality, and I just loved it, though. Like, that's just the atmosphere, and then the performances from everybody are just fantastic. We have 3 characters in this, and all of the actors do such a wonderful job. The female actress, what's her name? Rose McEwen,
I think is
she, I don't know if we talked about this. I think we did in our Black Mirror review, but she looks so much like Nicole Kidman, yes. Like young Nicole Kidman. Yes. Which is not a bad thing. She's adorable. Yes. I love her hair. I love, and I think she does a fantastic job. And then the 3 of them together, though, just have like such good chemistry for the characters and the story and everything. And I really love that it's like set in the 70s, because it does have that vibe, like with the clothing that they're wearing and the way that the movie looks as well. Kind of, it doesn't full on have like a dated 70s like look in terms of film, but it does have a really nice aesthetic quality where it feels like cozy too.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
agree.
other thing. This is like a really cozy film.
I agree.
The sound design is amazing.
Yes.
Just every element of that, so much. And yeah, I mean, I can just go on and on. I feel like there's so much to talk about with it. And I mean, that's shocking. A 4.8 is like kind of insulting for the quality that this film is. I mean, I get people maybe not vibing with it, but like, for me personally, I think a ton of stuff happens in this. I think there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the story.
I would definitely be very defeated as a director if I made a movie of this quality and I saw, you know, the ratings that this is getting. That would be a serious blow to the ego and future endeavors, because it would just be like, why do I bother? But you got to continue to go on and know that these types of movies will have their audience and they will reach them. So, you know, for anybody who makes films like this, you know, all it has to do is resonate with the right audience, right? Maybe it's not hitting with the normies currently, but eventually it will find its little circle, and it's really going to touch a lot of people. And I mean, one of the aspects of this film that I love so much, and I feel like why it is cozy, like you had said, is there's just this, like, I don't feel like this in film a lot, but there's this like feeling of nature that this film is able to put into every like aspect of the film, which of course fairies are all about nature. And this just really felt disconnected from, you know, like the big city and like this felt like a legitimate return to nature. And as the film goes on, the nature like seeps deeper and deeper into the frame and into the sets and everything. And it's just something about that is just so appealing to me. And I don't know, I don't. While we were watching this, like especially for the second time now, and really paying attention to all of the subtlety, the subtext, and you know, you had mentioned the other two, but my standout here is definitely the young actress who plays our third character.
Yes.
Now in the movie, this is supposed to be a young child, but the actor is a 25-year-old woman. I didn't really understand the like reason behind the casting the first time, but you know, the more I've watched it now and the more I was trying to pay attention to that choice, because I didn't really realize that until I was, because when I started like you, I was like, is that a girl or is that a boy? I can't tell. Very androgynous. And then when I looked it up and I saw it was like a 25-year-old woman, I was like, okay, that makes more sense. This feels much more like a woman. But keeping the androgyny in the character, I feel like makes sense for the story being told. Because, I mean, we could get into spoilers and sit here and talk for an hour about what it all means and the things that I picked up on this second viewing, and, you know, the scene that leads up to this character's introduction and what it means, and the dialogue they have when they're showing one character this rabbit trap and how that plays in later in the film, and what it means to them. And I just and then I think that this is the type of film that you really have to vibe with it to care enough to try to understand it.
Sure, yeah, if you're not interested in it, then of course you're not going to really maybe put that much effort into understanding. But Yeah, I think the androgyny of that character is super important, and I love it. It was reminding me of the I don't remember. I don't remember his name, but the like fairy in Legend.
Oh yeah.
That yeah, there's like a similar-ish vibe to the character there, and also that like nature in this is a character, is what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Where
absolutely.
it's not just a backdrop, it's not just a setting. Like the place is also a character, which is a really cool aspect of some films, like that they're able to accomplish that. Not necessarily just nature, but like other locations, right? This one, in this case, it's very much nature. Is part of everything.
Yeah, I mean, the people I would recommend this to, of course, are people that are into slower burn, somewhat metaphorical, heavy subtext laced, analyzation type film watchers. We've watched it just, I mean, from this year. I don't know what I would liken it to the most. Tonality wise, I'd probably say Went Up the Hill would be the most in line tonally. So if you did see that one, the Jack and Jill film, technically, as if you want to call it that. Not many people saw that film, but it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And this kind of has a similar tone as we also watched, was that this year or not? Go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
Well, I was just gonna say with Went Up the, you're right, like it's similar-ish, but I would just kind of emphasize like that film. It's beautiful, but it has a coldness that's lacking in this one. This one, like the coziness is definitely still there, but there is also a somber quality.
What about Shepherd?
Shepherd is kind of the same, I would say. Shepherd isn't as cozy to me.
Okay.
This film just really felt very comfy. Like, I could see this, and I feel like it's a really good film to watch in autumn. Like, it doesn't take place in autumn or anything, but something about it. I mean, maybe it does. Like, they're wearing sweaters a lot in it, and I don't know, but I was trying to think of some other...
The Lighthouse!
Like, fairy... Definitely not. But I was trying to think of some other fairy films that were... Like, the vibe is kind of similar, too.
Well, we watched that one this year.
I know. I was trying to remember. There was another one.
Not the one in the car, obviously. That I don't want to mention what that is because I don't want to ruin the surprise.
No.
That's a fairy
that one also
movie.
doesn't really feel like this either.
No. But we had watched another film this year called Freywaka.
Yes.
Freywaka.
That one's good. That one's close. That one's a little bit more, like, scary horror, I would say. This one, like, because this is the other thing, too. I could definitely see people...
Have, like, scary stuff
yes.
in it, for
this
sure.
is, like, emotional and some surreal and dreamy horror.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is something I've talked about on the channel many times, and I think that is a tremendous failing on the part of horror fans that, and this is nothing against these types of people. I get it, right? A comedy is meant to be funny,
Sure.
and a horror movie is meant to be scary. That's a very basic understanding of a genre. But horror is so much more than trying to startle the audience or scare them and make them go, right? Like, that is not all horror is. It can be just that in a film, but this is why horror is the best genre by far to me, is because it is so multifaceted. It has so many different ways to interpret horror, and this is one way. Whether you can watch this and feel bored out of your mind and feel like nothing is happening, right? And that's totally fine. And I don't have anything wrong with anybody watching this and thinking it's pretentious or thinking that it's terrible or thinking that it's boring or thinking that it's not for them. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just don't like that people seem to like pigeonhole horror into this tiny little constricted bubble where it's like this is all it can be, and if it's not this thing, it like my least favorite complaint when I hear somebody talk about horror is, and this is pretty much all they'll say, is it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a real complaint. Now, if that's all the film had to offer and it didn't succeed,
it just
on
is
that,
so rare that that's all a horror film is trying to do. There are definitely some that are just like,
I'm here to scare you and that's it.
but it's that, I feel like that kind of is very disingenuous, because what's scary is so subjective, or at least it can be. Anyway,
I don't want to sit here
fantastic
and
film.
preach and be like, we know horror better than you. That's not what I'm trying to do.
No.
I just, when I look at the 4.8,
yeah, I think it's a good
it bums
conversation to
me
have.
out.
You know, yeah. Because I don't know, especially, we just watch so many films, and we come across so many that we're just like, this is not for us. Like, we don't like it. We're not vibing with it.
Absolutely.
It's well made. It's all this stuff, but it's not our film. And I think more people need to, like, think about movies and just kind of everything that they consume as far as content goes, like whether it's film or TV or books or music, as in, some things are not for you. Like, and that's okay. It doesn't make the thing, like, inherently horrible and bad just because you don't like it. It's just not something that you, like, want to, you know, interact with anymore. But there's somebody out there that loves it. There's somebody out there that it's going to be really important to, potentially, and I think that's good to keep in mind. Like, you know?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Anyway, but this is wonderful. This film is great.
Yeah, this is why I showed it to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So there you go. It is available right now to rent. If you're somebody who loves these types of films, the slow burn movies that are all about whether trauma or, you know, stuff like that. That's something that makes a lot of people nowadays roll their eyes. They're like, why does every horror movie have to be about trauma and you know, metaphors and be all about the drama masquerading as a horror movie and all of that? If you're that crowd, then you're gonna fucking hate this movie. There's no doubt about that to me. But if you're someone who's into that A24 style film, which is more of a exploration of the human condition and the multi layers of humanity and the human mind and all of that stuff, and through the lens of like nature and fairies, then yeah, man, this is a beautiful film with amazing sound design. And as I said, like, the sets, especially towards the end of the movie, are so cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, it's such a shame to see movies like this hated. So anyway, I'll stop defending it, but
Yeah.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
So you understand.
I do.
All right. Well, yeah. Check it out.
Yes, please.
Support it if this sounds up your alley.
Yes.
That's that.
That's all.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.